Okay, so sometime in some video, I don't remember when, I said that like I used to be really Mormon. Um, and since then, I've had a few people message me to ask me about it and how it happened. So I just decided to make a video for that specifically and give you all the lowdown because I've been getting a lot of questions and people that are curious about it. So that's what I'm doing today. So, I used to be so Mormon. Like, I went to church every week on Sundays. I went to seminary every morning. I went to Young Women's every Tuesday, and I was Maya Maid president, and I went to like all the extra whatever that they had. I just did like everything Mormon I could possibly do. All my friends were in the church. My immediate family was really big into it too. And I was crazy about the Mormons. And I realized when I was a freshman in high school that I was gay. Like, it was something that popped up, and I guess that's one reason why I don't necessarily say that I knew like my whole life, because when I think about it, there's some definite signs, but I never like knew until I was a freshman, because I'd always assumed that because of what I'd been taught, I'd always been taught that it was a choice, and I'd always been taught whatever, and that it was like bad and stuff, and they were like, well, it's something that you choose to do that's bad, so you don't even have to worry about it. And so I never even considered that that would happen, so I didn't even realize it until it did. But something about being gay is that like it really is not a choice as much as people are gonna say it is. And the way I'll always describe it to people is it's like food. Okay, if there's one kind of food that smells like really really good to you, and then the other kind of food, like you have two options, and one smells really great and the other makes you kind of want to throw up, like which one are you going to decide to eat? Sure, you choose which one you're going to eat, but why should you choose one that you're going to throw back up later? So why should you choose to stay with someone who you're not going to be happy with? Because like that's what love's about. You shouldn't be with someone that you're not in love with for the rest of your life, because you're just like throwing it out, and you only get to live one time. And for one, according to Mormon religion, we all have free will, and we all have free will, and we all are supposed to be experiencing things in our mortal body. And what kind of a life are you going to be living if you never really experienced love? Like, what are you going to take back with you? Like, that's so important for everyone to get that. That's a huge part of us being on earth, is that you're supposed to experience things like that, like love and happiness and joy. And you're not going to get that if you can't be whoever you are. And so uh, finding out I was gay wasn't actually the first thing that like turned me away, I guess, from the church. What really did it was my parents divorced when I was a sophomore in high school. And everyone was really judgmental towards my whole family. And that's not what religion's about. Religion's supposed to be about loving people. But there were people who were basically telling me, like, that my parents were going to hell for what was happening, but that I shouldn't be upset because I can still make good decisions in my life. And that was, like, so offensive. And, like, I started doing exactly what they tell you to when you're questioning your faith, and that was to read your scriptures, go to church, and pray. So I did all of the above, and like my answers that I was getting just slowly led me to how wrong it is. And like, um, so, ugh, I'm not even wording all of this right. I'm not even sure if I'm making sense. I'm so jumbled up. But a lot of people are going to feel when they realize that they're gay that they have to make a choice between their faith and their sexuality. And I don't think that's true. I think for a lot of people, it's going to be extremely difficult to be able to do both because of the people in the church. They're so judgmental. They really can be, and they really don't understand how it is. They don't understand what you're going through. They don't understand that they don't really get it, and so they're gonna judge you, and they're gonna act like you're something else. And not all of them will, but a lot of them will, and that's what makes it difficult. But I don't think you have to choose. I think if you want to stay strong in your faith, you should stay strong in your faith. But I also don't think you should never be happy, because that's the whole point of having a physical body and being on earth. You know, like to experience all this like love and pain and happiness and eating and sleeping and everything about being physical, including sex. And so you shouldn't have to choose. You really shouldn't. Don't feel like you need to choose. Don't let the people around you feel like you need to choose. It could be a case like me where I realized I didn't believe in most of the things that I thought I did. I'd always been told that I should. I'd been taught from the time I was like 3 years old to go up and bear my testimony on the stand. And there were some things that, I thought I believed because it was what I'd been raised with, but it really wasn't. And so, um, the more I started reading into it, the more I realized that it wasn't actually what I thought. The more I researched stuff, the more I realized that I think they're wrong and that I disagree with a lot. I don't necessarily think that they're bad in their decisions or whatever, but I also didn't want to be in a place where I was being judged for who I am and my family that I have and who I date, when I didn't even necessarily believe with a lot of what they think. And so I stopped going to church because of that. And so if you're struggling with your faith and your sexuality, you should go to church, read your scriptures, and pray. And don't be afraid of the answers that you get. Don't assume that the answers you get are going to be what, the bishop is going to tell you is the answer you're going to get, because they're going to say that, well, it's a struggle that you have to deal with. Like, we all have to deal with struggles, and you just have to learn to overcome it and suppress it. And I don't, that's not the answer I got. The answer I got was that Jesus is supposed to love you, like Jesus and God, Heavenly Father, blah, blah, blah. They're supposed to love you like 8 million, quadrillion, super light years more than your earthly parents. And my mom wants me to be happy in life, you know? So why shouldn't he? Why should he think that I'm doing something wrong and bad and evil and send me to hell when I'm not hurting anyone? I'm not doing any kind of crime against my brother or whatever. I'm not hurting anyone, and neither are you. And I don't understand why it's classified as a sin, and it doesn't make any sense. And not to mention, according to the Bible, you really can't use the Bible because there are so many different ways to interpret it. I might make another video about all the different interpretations of the Bible, but just to throw this out there, just one thing in specific, anywhere where it says in the Bible that homosexuality is a sin is not accurate, because it's mistranslated. And I can prove it's mistranslated because there's no Hebrew word for homosexual, but it's in the Bible. And so they like took some word that no one really knows what it means. There's like lots of different theories about it, and it's not accurate. Not to mention, besides the mistranslation, the context of the times is so different. And the way homosexuality was seen then is so much different than the way it is now. And like the way it's conformed to society and all that. I have to stop talking now because this video is 8 minutes long. But if anyone else is curious about different interpretations, you can research them by Googling it. Prayers for Bobby has a few, or if I get enough requests, I might just like put out everything that I've found for myself. I hope this has been at least somewhat helpful. Please don't feel the need to choose. Do what you think is right for you. Don't be influenced by other people's opinion.